Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your NCAA Final Four Fade the Public edition for this Saturday, April 1st. Hey, no April Fools. It's taking place in Houston, Texas on Saturday night. The biggest Cinderella Final Four in history. No team seeded in the top three. We have a 4 seed, two 5 seeds, and a 9 seed. I'm going to break down both matchups here, let you know where the public is leaning on both the side and total in the Final Four this Saturday night, and also give you some in-depth analysis of both the side and total as well. Quick reminder, we have been red hot, to say the least. Last weekend on Saturday and Sunday, perfect 4-0 sweep in the Elite Eight. Best bets in all 4 games, perfect 4-0 sweep. In fact, as I'm doing this video on Thursday, we are on an 8-1, 89% basketball run the last 5 days. In fact, college basketball had the 4-0 Elite Eight sweep, and then the NBA has been red hot as well along the way. In fact, it's not a surprise. Number 1 in 2023 at WagerTalk.com in NBA, and number 1 ranked the past 2+ years in college and pro basketball sides, up over 119 units of profit. And oh, by the way, as I'm doing this video on Thursday, MLB opening day is here right now, and we do have baseball best bets starting on opening day. Baseball totals, by the way, number 1 since I joined Wager Talk nearly 3 years ago. Nobody has won more units, up nearly 90 units with MLB totals alone. It's a great time to be on board both basketball and baseball. So what did I do? I gave you a special discounted promo code for an all sports, all access 30-day package. Normally it's $299, but if you use promo code SM30PASS, you get an instant $100 discount at checkout and get a full 30 days and nights of college and pro basketball and baseball every day for just $199. What a fantastic offer. You know, one sport alone, if you want just the NBA for 30 days, it's $179, or just baseball, it's $179. So you're getting all 3 sports for just $20 more. Once again, I have 2 strong Final Four best bets covering both games this Saturday. We have the NCAA championship game on Monday night, full month of the NBA number 1 ranked this year, plus my number 1 ranked MLB totals for the last 3 years at MLB at WagerTalk.com. Everything for just $199, but you have to have that promo code at checkout, SM30PASS. That's SM30PASS, SM30PASS, 30 days and nights, all sports, $199. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, let's get right into it. The Final Four starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Saturday night in Houston. Now, first of all, this is the Houston Texans football stadium, so the sightlines could be an issue with these games on Saturday. We'll see if the teams learn to adjust and shoot better on Monday. But the first game off the board is obviously a low total. First game on the board is a low total with Florida Atlantic, the Cinderella team, as the 9 seed against a semi-Cinderella 5 seed San Diego State. And the Aztecs, as the higher seed, are the 2-point favorite. Held steady most of the week, but as we've gotten closer now to the weekend, we have seen money start to come in on San Diego State. It's up to 2.5. I even see some 3s out there as of Thursday afternoon. So money started coming on San Diego State. The public is pretty mixed on this one. A little bit of a lean towards San Diego State in most spots, but I've seen some spots in which they're leaning towards the dog. So I'm going to say the public is pretty neutral in this game. I do think that move from 2 to 2.5 to 3 is a sharp money move on San Diego State. And the total has dropped a bit this week, open to 132.5, down to 131.5 now in most spots. Not too much of a movement, though, on that total. Now, the total moved earlier this week before the side moved at all, but a San Diego State and under move overall this week does make sense because you definitely can make a case of both side and total are correlated in this game. San Diego State has to do it with defense. They're on an incredible run in this game. I think they're on a 14-1 under run their last 15. And if I'm not mistaken, they've gone under 12 straight overall. So they are playing slow, to say the least. And keep in mind, if you look at their tempo rating from this season to last, they're in that 260 range, which is exactly where they were last year. But it's misleading because San Diego State was playing much faster in non-conference play this year than they had in years past. They were in the top half, even the top third at one point in tempo. So the fact that they finished where they were last year shows how much they had to slow down in conference play. And obviously that's the case as they entered this game with 12 straight unders in their last 12 basketball games, dating back now into the regular season. And not surprisingly, the team's gone 11-1 straight up in those 12 games. And they've also been a very solid 9-3 ATS those last 12. So once again, San Diego State and the under are definitely correlated in this game. The Aztecs do not want to get into a fast-paced game. That's not how they play, and that's not how they've been successful in recent months. You look at the efficiency ratings. We'll use the KenPom ones just because they're widely used. San Diego State's now the 4th most efficient defense. They were 5th last week. They keep climbing. They're now the 4th most efficient defense, and they're the best defensive team remaining in the Final Four. But they're the weakest, by far the weakest offensive team as San Diego State is only 74th in the offensive ratings. Now, Florida Atlantic, a very balanced attack, 24th offense, 30th on defense. They were 29th earlier this week. And keep in mind, the Conference USA vastly overachieved this postseason. We had Charlotte winning the CBI tournament last week. We had both of the finalists in the NIT final on Thursday, North Texas and UAB. And don't forget, Florida Atlantic was actually an underdog to that UAB team earlier in the month in the Conference USA tournament final a few weeks ago in early March. So Conference USA obviously turned out to be a very good conference in postseason play. The only game in which Florida Atlantic did not cover here in the NCAA tournaments when they won by only 8 as a 15-point favorite against Fairleigh Dickinson, the 16 seed. They're 4-0 ATS in their other games, 3-0 ATS in their other games, and then 4-0 going back to that UAB upset to win the Conference USA postseason tournament on March 11th. They were fortunate to get by Memphis. So in fact, both of these teams, it's really crazy. It just shows how these one-and-done scenarios, there's so much random variance. Both of these teams were lucky to even make it to the round of 32. Florida Atlantic beats Memphis late in that game by a single point as a dog. We actually had a best bet on them in that game, so I thought they were the right side, but it was tight down late. And we actually faded San Diego State with Charleston, if you recall, back in the round of 64. And Charleston was leading outright a good majority of that game. So both teams were fortunate to advance. We have been on both of these teams in recent weeks. As I mentioned, we had a 4-0 sweep in the Elite Eight last week. So obviously I like both of these squads. In fact, the upset against Tennessee was not a surprise. The Kansas State upset, we had a strong best bet on Florida Atlantic, and I had strong best bets on San Diego State against both Alabama and Creighton in their upset wins. So you've got teams coming off back-to-back dog wins in this game. Pace is going to dictate how it turns out. Florida Atlantic needs to play more up-tempo. San Diego State obviously needs to play slower. Now, Florida Atlantic is capable of winning a slow-paced game. We saw them do that against Tennessee, an ugly 62-55 win. In Tennessee, the best, most efficient defensive team in the country, even better than San Diego State. So Florida Atlantic can win that way, but they prefer more offense. As far as the total here, the public is leaning towards the under, and that did catch my eye because normally the public is on overs by default. So there is a public lean to the under, pretty neutral on the side. But if you're looking for the most public play in this game, I'd say under the total is where the public sentiment is here. Once again, this game on CBS at 6:09 Eastern on Saturday night. All right, going to look at the other game, the late night game between Miami and Connecticut. Quick reminder, get 30 days and nights of all sports for just $1.99 with promo code SM30PASS. That's Steve Merril, 30 for 30, and then PASS, SM30PASS, SM30PASS. Use that at checkout. Details are on my page, by the way. If you're listening to this, the audio version, or you're in a hurry, just go to my page at WagerTalk. The full details, the promo code are on my page. All you do is you go to the All Sports drop-down menu, select the 30-day all-access package, and instead of $2.99, you get it for an instant $1.99 with promo code SM30PASS at checkout. Get to my page quicker, SteveMerrillWagerTalk.com with the shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. All right, let's look at the late night game. It'll start approximately 8:49 Eastern. We know that could vary, obviously. Usually it's a little bit later, depending on how long the other game runs. This game also on CBS, also in Houston, Texas. Miami and Connecticut. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention in that San Diego State-Florida Atlantic game, both teams have had pretty good three-point defense, but San Diego State's three-point defense has been off the charts this year. Less than 28% allowed from the field. Now, some of that is random variance in the short term, but obviously after 37 games, they're a really good perimeter D. As is often the case, if Florida Atlantic hits the threes, they're going to win that game if they can speed it up a bit. If San Diego State takes away the three, they're probably going to have the edge. And that is why the sight lines, once again, in the big arena could come into play. As far as this game between Miami and Connecticut, once again, Miami does not rely as heavily on the three-point shot. Connecticut relies more on it, so that could be a difference here. And UConn is a very good three-point defensive team as well, less than 30% allowed. Miami can definitely score in transition, though, and they're one of the best offensive teams in the country. In fact, these are two of the best offensive teams in the country. Connecticut right now, third offensive efficiency. Miami, the fifth best offensive team. Once again, contrast that to Florida Atlantic, who's 24th, San Diego State, who's 74th. Defense is where the Hurricanes have problems, though. 104th defensive efficiency. And once again, Connecticut 11th, San Diego State 4th, Florida Atlantic 30th. So Miami, Florida's going to need to win this game with some offense. As far as the line in this game, we did see it open 5.5 earlier in the week. It's pretty much held steady. I have seen some spots rise a little higher to 6. And that's not a surprise, as the public looks like they're on UConn in this game. after their dominant second half against Gonzaga. And keep in mind, that game was close throughout the first half, but then Connecticut just rolled Gonzaga in the second half. They've now gone a perfect 4-0 straight up in ATS in their 4 tournament games. And what's even more impressive about that, Iona obviously was a dangerous opponent, just a 9-point favorite, but they've been a 3.5-point favorite or less in each of the last 3 rounds, and they've won all 3 of those games by double digits, all by 15 points or more, including a couple games by 23 points or more the last 2 games. So not a surprise that the public likes Connecticut in this game, and I do think this line will probably bump higher. Been 5.5 most of the week, but I'm starting to see some 6 pop as we get closer to the weekend. Total open 148.5. It's held pretty steady all week. A little bit of a bump higher to 149. So it looks like a little bit of a rise on UConn and the over in the betting market so far, but plenty of public money will still come in this weekend. But UConn looks like the most public side in the round of the Final Four, and also the public is leaning over in this game. So UConn and the over, the public leans in this one, and that's where we see the line rising currently. As I'm doing this on Thursday, it looks like it's starting to rise towards the favorite in the over, and that would match the public leans in this game. Once again, it's in a huge football arena in Houston. UConn does rely a little bit more on the 3-point shot, but they also do have the better defense by far. In fact, I mentioned the last couple weeks, even going into the Sweet 16, the round of 8, that there were only 3 teams in the country that were top 15, both offense and defensive efficiency. Alabama was not one of them, even though they're the number 1 overall seed. Houston and Texas were 2 of them. UConn has been the other one. And even before the Elite 8 games, UConn had already passed both Houston, UCLA, and Alabama in the KenPom rankings. So they are the number 1 team right now. They're the most balanced attack. But that's why they're basically minus money, though, to win the championship. I broke this down earlier this week on WagerTalk TV. Minus 125 to win the championship, or are you better off doing a moneyline parlay, playing UConn minus that 240 range in this game as a 5.5-point favorite, and then rolling it over in the championship? By the way, the math tells you you're better off doing the money line parlay, and what that means is that you would just take 100. If you're risking $100 on a future bet, for example, at minus 125, it'd pay back 80 something or pay back 80. You could also risk 100 on the minus 240, minus 245 money line, and then you'd roll back the $41 you win to 141. You'd risk then on the next money line in the championship game Monday night if UConn advances, and that would get you anywhere, depending on what the line's going to be Monday, probably around this same 5 to 7 point range. Money line could be anywhere from 240 to 280 once again. Assuming that's the range, my math comes out to anywhere from even money to minus 110. So a money line parlay is going to get you probably anywhere from plus even money to minus 110. Let's just say minus 105. So you're better off, if you do like UConn to win the championship, doing the money line rollover parlay on 2 games. That's going to pay off at about minus 105 versus the current market for the future odds, which is minus 125. Not a surprise, by the way, in general at the NCAA tournament from the start, and I've talked about this for weeks, for years rather, and we talked about it a lot on shows the past few weeks here on WagerTalk TV. You're normally better off just rolling a team over on the money line parlay, and you'll get better odds in the future market, because keep in mind there's a huge house edge built in to those future odds, because they're not letting you take the no side. It's only a yes will they win the championship, right? Minus 125 yes on UConn. They're not letting you take plus 105 on the no. So there's a house edge built in. And the other nice thing about the moneyline parlays, you cannot, by the way, I'm not saying UConn's going to win this thing. They are the team to beat, obviously. You can do it with any of the teams. You're going to get a better payoff. And you can also stop at any point and lock up a profit, whereas you would have to hedge otherwise with a future bet, because that bet is all in and you can't get out of it. So if an injury occurs, or if you no longer like a matchup in the next round, that's another reason the moneyline parlay is a great way to play futures. And that works for all sports: NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs, which are coming up, World Series, MLB playoffs, 6 months from now. So keep that in mind. Moneyline parlay. If you have any questions, by the way, comment below in the chat. I'll be happy to answer. I read all the comments. I reply back. If you have any handicapping questions in general like that, please let me know, because you're not the only one. We have thousands of people watching these videos and reading the chats. Let's learn together. Let's win together, right? It's us against the books. It's a great way to become better sports bettors on a daily basis. So once again, recapping the public leans in these games, pretty neutral on this Florida Atlantic San Diego State side. The public is leaning towards the under there. And in the late game between UConn and Florida, Miami of Florida, UConn and the over is the way the public's leaning in that game. So I hope you found this video useful. A little bit of a quick dive into the analysis. Once again, I do have strong best bets in both of these games for Saturday night. A perfect 4-0 sweep last Saturday and Sunday in the Elite 8 on a current 8-1, 89% basketball run, because the NBA has been incredible all season. Number 1 this year in the NBA at WagerTalk.com. And not a surprise, because the last 2 years combined, College and pro basketball sides are number one, up over 119 units won. And don't forget about baseball. The baseball season is here. Baseball best bets on a daily basis for the next 6.5 months, all the way till November with the World Series. It's the best moneymaker in all of sports because, look, there's 15 games in one day in baseball. That's a whole NFL week. There's 162 games for every team. That's like an NBA and NHL season combined. So we are very selective, usually 1 to 2 plays a day. As you know, I believe in quality over quantity, and that's why baseball is such a great moneymaker. And it's been proven since I joined WagerTalk 3 years ago, nobody has won more money. Number one ranked in MLB totals alone, up over 90 units. What a great time to get in all sports, all access. You're going to get the Final Four on Saturday, my championship best bet Monday, full 30 days of my number one ranked NBA, plus my number one MLB as well. 30 days and nights of all sports is normally $2.99. You're getting an instant $100 discount at checkout with promo code SM30PASS. That gets it down to $199 for the next 30 days and nights. The rest of college hoops, all of the NBA and MLB along the way for 30 days and nights for just $199. But you got to have that promo code SM30PASS. Steve Merril 30PASS. It's SM30PASS. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. Hey, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Steve Merril. You know the deal. 2 R's, 1 L at Steve Merril on Twitter. Found this video useful, make sure you hit subscribe to videos for all the videos here on WagerTalk TV and hit that bell for instant alerts when I do these videos, and also my Just a Bit Outside baseball video. And by the way, did a Just Outside baseball video for you on Wednesday. It's a season preview, so if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out right here on WagerTalk TV. I break down the new rules and the new scheduling changes for baseball and how you can make some money this year by using that to your advantage. So check that out at Just a Bit Outside season preview with the rules changes, schedule adjustments, and how to make money this season. Some play-on teams, several play-on teams, which I think will be a lot better this season in MLB, which is free in that baseball video right here on WagerTalk TV. So like, subscribe, hit the bell for instant alerts, and don't forget to comment below. Give me a thumbs up and leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the Final Four. Who do you like? Give me some player props, right? We haven't talked any player props in college hoops this year. It's a good time to do it with the Final Four. And give me your national title predictions, your final predictions for Monday, and who you think will be cutting down the nets in one shiny moment when it's all said and done. Thanks as always as watching. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell for instant alerts, and check us out daily here for great content on WagerTalk TV. Enjoy the game Saturday night. Best of luck, and I'll talk to you again soon.